We all have those people in our feeds, the ones who watch every single story, see every post, but they never ever share anything themselves. So, what is going on there? Are they just kind of passively watching from the sidelines? Well, what we're digging into today suggests that we might be looking at them all wrong. That's a pretty bold statement, isn't it? This idea that being silent on social media isn't a sign of absence, but actually a form of strength. So, we're going to unpack the psychology behind this and figure out why the quietest person online might just have the ultimate upper hand. All right, to really get a handle on this, let's start by looking at two totally different ways of experiencing the world. We'll do this by following two characters, the poster and, you guessed it, the non-poster. When you really boil it down, it's a fundamental difference in how they operate. One person's reality is carefully crafted and performed for an audience online, while the other's is just lived. Let's see how this actually plays out in a super common, everyday scenario. Come on, we've all seen this person. Maybe we've even been this person, right? You're adjusting the lighting, you're trying out different angles, moving the salt shaker around, all for that one perfect shot of your dinner. The whole point of the experience becomes documenting the experience. And then you have this. The contrast couldn't be clearer. The non-poster, they're just there for the pasta. Their goal is the thing itself, not the digital proof that it happened. And this simple little act, well, it reveals a huge difference in what they value, which leads us right into our next point. So, why these two totally different approaches to a plate of pasta? Well, the argument here is that it all comes down to the source of their self-worth. It's all about where their self-esteem engine is getting its fuel. This visual just nails it, doesn't it? You can see the poster's self-esteem is all over the place. It's powered by outside sources. It shoots up with likes and comments, but then it can crash with just a little bit of indifference. It's totally volatile. But the non-poster, they've got that solid, stable bar because their validation comes from the inside. And here's the absolute kicker. The non-poster's silence isn't a sign that they're insecure or don't have cool things to share. No, it's the exact opposite. It's a sign of real self-sufficiency. They just don't need a like from the outside world to feel good about their life. This really brings the idea home. It's like they have their own internal power plant. They're not plugged into the public grid of social approval to keep their lights on. Their sense of who they are is completely self-sustaining. Now let's see how this builds into a very real kind of social power. Okay, so when you don't broadcast every single detail of your life, you create something that's become incredibly rare and valuable in our digital world. Mystery. And it turns out that mystery is a form of power. I mean, this is basic psychology, right? Our brains are wired to fill in the blanks. We hate an incomplete picture. So when we only have little bits and pieces of information about someone, we naturally get more curious. The non-poster taps into this, whether they mean to or not. And this is the question that starts to bubble up. While the poster's life is pretty much an open book for anyone to read, the non-poster's is a closed one. And that makes people wonder what amazing things might be written on those pages. Their silence just invites curiosity. This isn't about being antisocial. Not at all. It's about being pro-privacy. They're consciously drawing a line in the sand between their public persona and their private self. Their life, their experiences, their photos, all of it is treated like a treasure to be protected, not just stuff to be put on display. And that, right there, is the crucial difference. This isn't about hiding in the shadows. It's about standing in the light and deciding for yourself who gets a key to your front door. It is an active, powerful choice to control your own story. So for our final section, there's this one last really powerful metaphor to frame this entire choice. It compares the world of social media validation to a casino, one that's specifically designed to keep you at the table, playing the game. Think about your personal energy like this fuel tank. The whole performance of being online, crafting the perfect image, constantly checking for likes, replying to comments, it all drains your mental and emotional battery. The non-poster, on the other hand, they conserve all that energy. They keep their tank full for things that happen in the real world. This breakdown makes it so clear. The poster is playing for these tiny, random rewards, those little dopamine hits you get from a notification. Their energy gets spent, and they often get stuck in that loop. But the non-poster? By refusing to even play the game, they set their own goals and save their energy. They just walk away. And in this particular game, that's exactly how you win. This is their powerful, unspoken declaration. It's a conscious decision to just opt out of the whole validation cycle,
to refuse to let some algorithm dictate their self-worth. It's kind of a quiet revolution against the whole attention economy.
So, what's the big lesson we've learned from the non-poster? Well, first, that real self-esteem doesn't need an audience. Second, that the moments we keep just for ourselves are often the most valuable ones. And maybe most importantly, that in a world that is screaming for our attention 24/7, choosing silence is a profound act of power.
And all of this really just leaves us with one final thought to chew on. As you're scrolling through your own feed today, take a second to look at your own habits and just ask yourself, who's really in charge here? It's a question worth asking.